Good morning, my dear students. I hope you're great. In this opportunity, I'm going to teach you about the comparative and superlative adjectives. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, if I am going too fast, remember that you can always um, put subtitles into your YouTube. You can change the subtitles and you can pause it, or you can even make it slower by changing the speed in some options here below. So we are going to learn about the adjectives and how to compare and how to talk about what is the most important thing ever. So let's start. They are used to show the difference between two objects, always two, because when you talk about more than two objects, you use the comparatives. Let's say that I have two cars. I have a little Toyota and a big Ford. A comparative is used to show the difference between the two. The Ford is big, so we can say the Ford is bigger than the Toyota. Because the Toyota is small, we can say the Toyota is smaller than the Ford. To learn to use this, we need to learn 5 basic rules. Are you ready to learn these 5 basic rules? Remember that we learned about them in the previous lessons and you wrote some of these rules. Rule number 1. Oh, look, what a cute hippo. And an ant, a walking ant. Rule 1. If an adjective has one syllable, we add the ending er to the adjective. One syllable like small, one, hard, one. You add er and it changes to smaller than, harder than. The ant is smaller than the hippo. Rule number 2. If a one-syllable adjective ends with a consonant plus a vowel plus a consonant, you must double the last consonant and then add er. For example, big ends in consonant. Before the consonant, it has a vowel, I, and before the vowel, it has another consonant. So in this case, you double the last consonant and it's transformed into bigger than. And fat too. Consonant, vowel, consonant, add er, fatter than. The elephant is fatter than the giraffe. The giraffe is taller than the elephant. What else could we say? The elephant is heavier than the giraffe. Heavier. Later we are going to see what happens with adjectives ending in y. Here it is. If an adjective ends with a y, remove the y and add ier. Example, happy ends in y, funny ends in y. You take away the y and add ier. Happier than, funnier than. I think there's an Ed Sheeran song called Happier. I guess. The girls will know. The girl is happier than the dog. Oh, the dog is uglier than the girl. Ugly, feo. The girl is funnier, más divertida than the duck. Rule number 4 out of 5. If an adjective has 2 syllables or more without a y, then add the word more before the word. If the adjective ends with a y, you will only add the word more if it has 3 syllables or more. Example, beautiful, 3 syllables. Plus more, it changes to more beautiful than. Expensive, 3 syllables. So you add the word more before and it changes to more expensive than. Satisfactory, you add more satisfactory than. The butterfly is more beautiful than the frog. But I remember Miss Damaris told me that no, that the frog was more beautiful than the butterfly for her. About beauty, there are no rules. And the final but not less important rule, number 5. There are a few exceptions. Good changes to better than. Good, bueno. Better than, mejor que. Bad, malo. Worse than, peor que. Far, lejos. Farther than, más lejos que. You can also change this farther than. Instead of a, you can write further with a U. It's the same, further than. Okay, let's continue. Now about the comparatives. Let me erase and there. Remember, when using a comparative, you must always follow it with the word than. And here you have some examples. If you want to have a look at them, you can pause the video. Now I'm going to go on. Superlatives. The superlatives, it's the same rules than the comparatives, but the only difference is that instead of adding er, like smaller, you add est, smallest. Let's see. In this case, you compare or you show the difference between more than two objects or persons. Let's say that I have 3 cars. I have a little Toyota, a medium-sized Jeep, and a big Ford. A superlative is used to show the differences that exist in the group. The Ford is big, so we can say the Ford is the biggest of all the cars I have. Because the Toyota is small, smaller than the other 2 cars, I can say the Toyota is the smallest. See? Just what I told you. Instead of er, you add est when the adjective is short. Big, biggest, the biggest. And instead of than, bigger than that, you always have to write the article the before the adjective. I am the biggest in my house now. After the quarantine, I have put on like 10 kilos, but okay, let's continue with the contents. Okay. Rule number 1, the same. If the adjective is 1 syllable long, we add est. And, as I told you, the article the. The ant is the smallest of all the insects, for example. Next one. If a 1 syllable adjective ends with a consonant plus a vowel, the same than fatter than, you say the fattest. The hippo is the fattest animal in the jungle, for example. The universe that I am comparing the hippo with is the jungle. But maybe the hippo is not the fattest if I talk about the world. The fattest animal in the world might be the elephant, maybe. Next one. Rule number 3. If an adjective ends with y, remove the y and add instead of er. You again drop the y, but this time you add iest. The happiest, the funniest, the happiest girl in the world, the funniest joke in the world. What could be the funniest joke in the world? Maybe Coco Legrand or Bombo Fica joke, maybe? Could be the funniest joke in Chile. The elephant is the heaviest. El más pesado. De peso. Right? Rule number 4. If an adjective has 2 syllables or more without a y, then add the word must before the word. If the adjective ends with a y, you will only add the word must. If it has 3 syllables or more, Example, but not the only word most. You always, with all the adjectives, add the. The most beautiful, the most expensive, the most satisfactory. The airplane is the most expensive means of transport in the world. And the cheapest means of transport could be our foot, our feet, because we just need to walk. Next one. Here some more examples. And finally, the homework that I gave you, you can practice by doing that, or you can also look on the internet. You can write superlative and comparative adjectives exercises or activity. But we will practice it later in our class. But if you want, you can look for more exercises and I can check them for you